Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to our 354th weekly webcast. Now, if this is the first time you're joining us, welcome. If you've been with us before, welcome back. Now, the way this call works is this is an AMA, like you see on Reddit. Ask me anything. You'd ask me business questions, investing questions, career questions, startup questions, personal growth questions, any questions you want to. My humble goal is to help you take your happiness, your portfolio, your career, etc., your startup to the next level. Without further ado, let's begin. Thank you. All right, so first question I've got is from Jerome. Hey, Jerome, who wrote, is it possible to short the real estate market? If so, how? Yeah, there's a couple of ways. One way you can do it is you can short an ETF with the ticker VNQ, okay? Or you can short another ETF, which is the ticker IYR. What you can also do is you can short the home builders, stocks like Lennar, ticker LEN, or KBH, which were my favorite shorts back in 2008 when we were within 24 hours of bank machines not working. Now, in addition, and I don't recommend shorting stocks. If you want to bet against stocks, I recommend buying a put. And I'll explain what a short is and a put is briefly. So a short, the way it works with a short, so in my hand, I'm holding a stock certificate from Lehman Brothers. The ticker was LEH before it went belly up in the fall of 2008. The way it works is, let's pretend I'm a hedge fund, okay? And I borrow the shares from Goldman Sachs, right? For example, a prime brokerage firm. And I borrow it and it's $100, right? So I'm on the hook for $100 to Goldman plus $1 in fees. Then what I do, I'm the hedge fund, is I sell this to somebody else for $100. Okay, so I get $100. The stock goes down hopefully to $60. I buy it back. I just made $40. Then I return this to Goldman Sachs. Okay, now if the stock goes up, say from 100 after I lent it to 200, I have to buy it back for $200. Then I lost $100. Very, very dangerous. Don't do it. A better way is this. If you want to short stocks like real estate stocks and indexes, a better way to do it is you buy what's called a put. And a put, you pay this much money, a small amount of money. If the stock goes down, you make a lot. If the stock goes up, all you lose is this much. Don't short stocks. Now, a lot of people shorted GameStop, ticker GME, in January of 2021, and they lost everything. Michael Jordan, apparently, according to people familiar with the matter, lost $500 million doing that because GameStop went up 29.4 times. So instead, what you want to do is you want to buy puts. And I teach you all about this stuff as well in my programs. You could find it online or something. I'm not here to sell it. But let me show you how to tell if you can buy options on any stock. So I'm going to go to finance.yahoo.com, okay? And let's pick IYR, okay, which is a real estate ETF. Now, when you look at ETFs, what you want to do is you want to make sure that, number one, they're liquid, so you can get in and out quickly. And number two, you want to look at the holdings, okay, to see what you're going to be shorting here. So here you'll be shorting a lot of these real estate related stocks. Then you're going to click here on options. The way you know if you can trade options on a stock or an index is if you see data right here. Then you're going to select your expiration date. And then you go down here to puts. Okay. And if anybody has questions about this, I can talk about this in more detail. All right, let me move on now to the next question. Well, one more quick thing. If you want to invest in real estate, you can take my complete real estate course, only available on my website. I ask you lots of questions about the property you want to buy, and then you print out an executive summary and a business plan. All right, let me move back over here. Okay, next question I've got is, okay, oil is at 113. What is next? 150 or 200 or even 250? How high before we all go up with inflation? Pure question. Yeah. So what Iran is doing, we all see the same news releases, is they're trying to, and they've actually said this, they're trying to get oil to $200. Okay, and 20% of all oil goes through the Strait of Hormuz, which is on the west coast of Iran. I think oil is going to go up to above $150. Now, if oil stays above $150 for about 2 months, then the probability of a recession in the United States is greater than 50%. A recession is defined as 2 consecutive quarters of negative GDP growth year over year. So a lot of people are asking, well, why can't the United States just put ships in the Strait of Hormuz? Well, the problem is it's like 30 or 40 kilometers across, right? The problem is that Iran on the west coast of Iran still has a lot of missile facilities that could take out U.S. ships. And each one of these U.S. ships costs over $1 billion. But more importantly, the loss of human life would be terrible. And so if just one of these ships goes down, I think the Trump administration would find it hard to continue to fight this war. God forbid, I pray for peace. We certainly live in interesting times. Okay, next question is, what is the point of hitting oil bases in Iran when it will push supply down and pull demand up, hence increase prices? That's a great question. So if the United States were to do that, and I don't know if they will, but if they were to do that, the rationale would be this: to starve the the Iranian government so they can't pay salaries for their soldiers, etc. Yeah, and what's happening is interesting. The six biggest Arab countries now are much more so on the side of the United States because Iran is recklessly, bombing Qatar. They've sent 2,000 missiles already to UAE, etc. I didn't expect this to happen. So we live in interesting times. God willing, everything is safe. I've got relatives in Lebanon. I pray for them. Yeah. Okay. Next question. Did you know Iran is taking yuan from India and other nations like Japan, South Korea in return for oil, and not the dollar? Will it dent the petrodollar made in the 1970s? I don't think so. So right now, 80% of oil is sold in US dollars, petrodollars. Okay, and we know that 20% of all oil goes through the Strait of Hormuz. Iran is going to be weakened materially. China is not getting involved either. China is seeing their own economic growth issues. They're forecasting this year only 4.5% to 5% GDP growth, which is down from double digits since the 1990s. Yeah, this is going to weaken Iran longer term. I wouldn't worry about oil being sold not in dollar denominations in my lifetime, to be honest. Yeah. And I can go to more detail on that if you want me to. Okay, next question is, who according to you was the #1 president of all time? I know you love Reagan, but not him. Someone like old and ancient before World War I era. Yeah, I love Ronald Reagan. When I was a kid growing up in the 80s in Canada, he took on big, bad, filthy communism. I love him for that, although I didn't vote in the last election. In terms of who I like most pre-World War II, probably Lincoln, because he preserved the Union and he ended slavery. Next question is, do you think Bitcoin is behaving abnormally? The market was expecting it to fall, but why is it actually rising? It fell badly today. Yeah, a lot of people are de-risking today. So for the year, Bitcoin is down about 20%. I actually don't really care where it is over the next year or two. Like, I don't know the path, but I know the destination. My humble opinion is that the price of Bitcoin in 20 years is going to be $1 million, and I'll explain why. And then I'll tell you when to buy it. Okay. So my thesis on Bitcoin, okay, and always be a long-term investor. Like, I don't care if it goes to 40 grand next year or 200 grand next year. I'm a long-term investor. So there's $96 trillion worth of fiat currency in the world right now. And that's an increase from 90 trillion going back to COVID. It's a big increase, eh? You're getting diluted. And my thought process is that the amount of fiat currency is going to increase by about 5% per year on average for the next 20 years. So the future value of $96 trillion at a 5% interest rate over 20 years is about $250 trillion. Now, currently, about 3% of the world's money, 3% of the $96 trillion is in cryptos. I think that in 20 years, when we have $250 trillion worth of paper, meaning fiat paper currency, I think that Bitcoin is going to be 10% of that. And that means a target price of $25 trillion for Bitcoin, which means $1 million per coin. Okay, it's all about supply and demand, right? My grandfather, God bless him, who's up there with my sister Katie, I miss you guys. He used to always say, Chrissy, buy land, they're not making it anymore. And the great thing about Bitcoin is that there will never be more than 21 million Bitcoin ever created by the year 2140. Now, because Bitcoin is not regulated by the SEC, okay, it's kind of regulated by the laws of mathematics, I don't recommend anybody ever have more than 5% of their liquid net worth in it, okay? You got to be careful, okay? And I can talk a lot more about Bitcoin if you want me to, yeah. Okay. All right, next question is, and everybody please keep typing your questions, thanks. All right, next question is, do you think it's time for research and backing up the truck, meaning buying a lot of stocks? Or is this the beginning of a year of falls as the market is barely down 5-6% from its peak? I'm talking about the U.S. markets. I don't know. I don't know the path. I know the destination, though. I think the best investment you can make longer term, aside from real estate and your primary residence, is investing in the United States markets. And so everything in this world is relative. Okay, the very last company on this planet, so to speak, to ever go bankrupt would be the U.S. government. It is what it is. Okay, it's all relative. And I think the 500 companies that make up the S&P 500 are much better run than the U.S. government. Now, I believe that in the long run, the S&P 500 is going to be up 15 to 20% per year on average. Okay. Now, there will be big down years. I promise you. I don't know the path. I know the destination longer term. Now, one of the reasons I'm quite bullish on the S&P 500 is this. Let me show you here in income statements. Okay. So I believe this is an income statement here. With the advent of AI, there's going to be a hell of a lot of cost cutting, not just repetitive stuff like general and administrative expenses, but also R&D is going to be done a lot by AI. Big drug companies are doing that as well as sales and marketing. If you get rid of these three blocks, right, if sales growth remains constant and this stuff goes down, right, SG&A and R&D, then net income goes up big time. And I think that's going to happen with S&P 500 companies. Yeah. And I have a lot of clients that are terrified about AI taking their jobs, rightly so. So what I want you all to do is I want you to use AI in your job every day to be way more productive so that you're not at risk of being let go. And if you're a developer or doing something repetitive, I'm begging you to try to get into more of a sales role, because I humbly believe that sales is the last thing that will be disintermediated by AI, because we don't trust technology, we trust people. Yeah, and I can go into more detail on that if you want me to. Now, in terms of making a call on the U.S. markets, it's very hard to do any markets in the near term because of black swan events. A black swan is a rare occurrence. There's not many black swans in the world, except here in Tasmania. And a black swan is something like COVID or one country attacking another country. You can't forecast this stuff. And that's why day trading doesn't work. Okay, and I say it with love in my heart, please don't day trade. Each month has 20 weekdays in it, meaning 20 days the markets are open. I don't know what Trump's going to say one day to the next, or Netanyahu, or anybody for that matter. Be a long-term investor. As Warren Buffett said, the longer the view, the wiser the intention. Okay, please continue to type your questions, everyone. All right, next question. Larry Fink, who is the CEO of BlackRock, which has over $10 trillion in assets under management. Larry Fink was saying, it is the hardest market for the class of 2026, even without a recession. Do you agree? And how can one grad navigate this market and step up to the top, meaning how to get a job? Yeah, it's really, really tough, especially with AI taking a lot of work. What I would say is you got to network on steroids. Your network is your net worth, and relationships are always more important than product knowledge. If you just send in your resume for a high-paying finance job, you've got like a 1 in 200 chance of just getting a freaking interview. So how do you get around that? Step one, have an incredible LinkedIn profile, which my company helps you with. See the link here or in the description, harounmba.com/meeting, set up a call with us. So step one, have an amazing LinkedIn profile that we create for you, an amazing resume. I train you how to interview as well. And for those of you that don't want to sign up for my program, please don't feel like you have to, obviously. You can download this book for free. It's called Networking to Get a Job, Customers, or Anything You Want. And you can all download this book for free. Okay, your network is your net worth, and relationships are more important than product knowledge. What you're going to do is you're just going to go to my website, which is harounmba.com. Scroll down to the bottom, and then you can download this book right here for free. So what I want you to do is I want you to set up lots of informational meetings with people that have something in common with you. And then during those informational meetings, I want you to talk about what you have in common. Maybe you went to the same school, etc. Then ask them about a day in the life in their job. Then offer value, meaning help them. And I'll explain how in a second. And then ask for a job. And if they say we're not hiring, say, do you know anyone in your company might be hiring? Or do you know anybody that went to our school that you can please introduce me to? Now, in terms of how to add value, okay, there's this whole mentality of give and you'll receive. There's a great book called Give and Take written by Adam Grant. Let me summarize this. You don't have to read it. The top 1% of people in the world by net worth, they're givers. Most people are takers. They help people. So before you go into any informational meeting or interview, I want you to remember three things. Number one, people are motivated by one of three things. Number one, they want to make more money. Number two, they want to get promoted. Number three, they want to enjoy the people that they work with. So what you can do is you can help them in their career by bringing one-page write-ups to help them. Okay, and I help you create all these one-page write-ups in my program. Set up a call with me if you're interested. Yeah. Okay. Minas, thank you for your question. I love you, man. I love you. Okay. All right, next question is here. Are we nearing the end of a cycle, as Ray Dalio says in his books? Gold is down. Gold's actually, I think it's up 7% this year, although it's down a bunch today. Yeah. Gold is down. The market is down. Yep. Oil is up. Crypto is up. Silver is down. Silver's down 7% this year. And U.S. debt hit $39 trillion. Yeah. So Ray Dalio, for those of you not familiar with him, he founded a very successful hedge fund called Bridgewater on the East Coast of the United States. Okay, it's over $100 billion in assets. He's good at picking stocks, but I wouldn't listen to him when it comes to economic stuff. Okay, I think he's outside of his realm there. It's like the inverse of George Soros, and I despise Soros' politics. But Soros is great at macro, crappy at equities. Okay, now Ray Dalio wrote this book called Principles and a couple others about economic shocks. Now, if you work at Bridgewater, and I have friends that work there, it's a really, really tough place to work. Every single meeting is recorded except in the bathrooms. Crazy. Don't listen to people talking about doom and gloom. Okay? Don't listen to him, please. Yeah. In terms of U.S. debt, in the U.S. system, the U.S. economy was set up since day one to create lots of this stuff and to be the lender of the last resort lender to the rest of the world. Okay, so if you think about it, if the Chinese government or Japanese government or any first world nation stops borrowing U.S. debt or investing in U.S. debt, I should say, it's going to hurt their economy more than it's going to hurt the U.S. Right? So China is still an export-oriented country. Okay, and when you look at global economics, FX rates, bonds, yields, etc., it's all relative. And we'll know that the world is not going to use the United States dollar as a world's reserve currency when investment bankers in every major economy stop using the US dollar interest rate for their risk-free rate. Yeah, it's all relative. Okay, Marin, great to see you. So Marin is one of my incredible students. So I use the proceeds from what I do to build schools. And with Marin, who recently joined my community here, I'll show you here. Marin and I are building a school for girls in honor of her mother. And let me show you the progress on that right here quickly. Okay, so I was in Kenya with Marin. Here's Marin here and her wonderful sisters and father. Yeah, we surveyed the land. We've got the land now. We're just trying to get permits for the girls' school that we're building. We have to get pipes to get water up to the school here. And the way this is going to look, it's going to look identical. I hope Dadi is feeling better. I think he is, you mentioned. It's going to look identical to this school I built in Rwanda back in 2023 with another one of my amazing students, Vital. Okay, so it's going to have solar on the roof. I'm building 1,000 of these things in my lifetime. These kids are so cute. That's Vital's mom. Here's the Minister of Education. We cut the ribbon. Yeah. So I believe that education is the most powerful weapon that we can use to change the world. Marin, it's great to have you here. All right, next up, Nick wrote, "Hey, Chris, I just want to say I'm Nick from the Republic of Georgia. Pleasure to meet you. I'm a first-year student from your course. Thank you. I haven't finished that, and I want to get back to it. Sending you blessings to you and all." Excellent, Nick. Thank you so much. And, Nick, I'd love to see you today at 10 a.m. Pacific time on my daily group Zoom call that you have access to. Go to the first lecture in your curriculum and access that. Thank you. God bless you. Okay. All right, next up we have Christina, who is one of my clients in my daily program as well from Toronto. Great to see you, Christina. How does 2x, 3x ETF bulls, bear ETFs work? Can you talk about that? Absolutely. I don't recommend doing it because quite often they use sophisticated options instruments that could lose you more money. The way it works is this. So the S&P 500, right? You can buy SPY or ticker VOO. That's an ETF that represents the S&P. Okay, so if the S&P goes up 10%, then that ETF makes you 10%. Now you can buy levered versions of that. So a 2x levered version of that, bullish one, bullish means good, bearish means bad, means that if the S&P is up 10%, then that levered ETF will be up 20% and vice versa. If the S&P is down 10%, that will be down 20%. Be very, very careful with that, please. And for bearish versions of that, it's the opposite. Okay, so if the S&P goes down 10%, the bearish version will make 20% if it's got a 2x leverage characteristic to it. Don't do it. They're very volatile, very dangerous. Yeah. Okay. Now, when it comes to risk management in your portfolio, I always recommend, if you're not going to invest in ETFs, if you're just going to invest in single stocks, I don't recommend ever having more than 5% of your portfolio in any one particular stock. And I don't recommend having more than 20% in any one particular sector, like retail, tech, industrials, etc. All right, next question is, what risk should everyone in their 20s be taking, which they're not taking right now, according to you? Yeah, so I would be more aggressive with your portfolio. Now, there's an old school private wealth management train of thought, which is this. You take 100 minus your age, and that is what percent of your investment should be in slightly riskier stocks. So if you're 25, 100 minus 25 is 75. That means 75% of your investment should be in riskier growth stocks, not too risky, and 25% in low risk bonds or high dividend yielding Dow 30 components. And the reason why is because you've got a gazillion years left in your life to make it back. If you're 95 years old, 100 minus 95 is 5. That means 5% of your net worth should be in riskier stocks and 95% in very low risk stocks because you don't have as much time to make it back. Last thing I'll say on this topic is that I said it's old school because in the old days, people used to live until, 70s, 80s, 100, whatever. But on this call today, there are people that are going to live to 150. And if you don't believe me, you look at the statistics. A lot of people in their hundreds are really with it, still working now. And also, the average life expectancy today is 26 years longer than it was in the 1950s. So if you're 52, meaning 2 years younger than me, you're actually 26. Yeah. Another thing I would say, give myself advice in hindsight, is don't fear failure. Like take risks in your life, not just with portfolios, etc. But I've got this great quote from Michael Jordan here, which is, I've failed over and over again in my life, and that's why I succeed. And Mark Cuban said, you only have to be right in business one time. Take that risk. Yeah. And also, what I recommend is, I don't care how old people are that are watching this call. If you work for somebody else, I want you on the side to write a business plan. And I can help you with that as well. You can ask me every week about your business plan here. And write a full business plan. And on the side, start your company. The second your 6-month trailing revenue from that company is greater than your annual salary, you quit. You don't want to spend the rest of your life, I'm going to swear now, I'm sorry, I don't do this often. You don't want to spend the rest of your life being someone else's bitch. Okay, I don't want you to wake up when you're old and have trouble getting out of bed because you work for some schmuck that's paying you this much money to make their dreams become a reality. Take the risk. Always start companies on the side. Let me help you do that. Yeah. So what I do in my coaching business is I coach people. I help them, number 1, get the job. Number 2, get promoted. Number 3, start side hustles so they can quit their full-time job and start their own gig. Yeah. Okay. Hey, Ted, how are you? Peace and blessings back to you as well, brother. Good. Okay, everyone, please continue to type your questions. Thanks. Okay. Next up, Manas wrote, you were so right with cost cutting. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. Meta is trying to remove 20% of the workforce at once. So many people are laid off. How will the economy and household work? Yeah. So with Meta, it's a couple of things. It is partially because of AI. They did this last year as well. But I believe that they overhired and invested too much in metaverse crap, which is not working. But more importantly, they're investing so much money in AI infrastructure, data centers, etc., that in order to keep margins, I'll show you here, in order to keep operating profit margins at the level they're at right now, they have to start cutting. Okay, yeah. And Oracle went through this a couple months ago as well. You know, investors freaked out because Oracle is spending a lot of money on data centers, but they freaked out too much. It was massively oversold. And I'm a bull on Oracle in the very long run. Okay. As long as Larry Ellison's still there. Don't ever invest in a company if the founder leaves. Ever. Period. No exception. Okay. All right. Give me 1 second. Okay. Red Hawk Down. Pleasure to meet you. First time I see you on the call. I hope you join us again. Question is, I'm starting a startup. How can I get some advice on my pitch deck? Yeah. Well, if you want, let me know in the chat if you want to pitch it right now in front of everybody on Zoom. Just say yes or no, and I'll give you the Zoom link and we'll do it right now. But when you make a pitch deck or any presentation in any company, I want you all to use this format right here, okay? So I'm going to go here to Airbnb, and I'll put this in the chat as well, okay? So this here is Airbnb's pitch deck. Airbnb was backed by Y Combinator, okay, where the CEO of OpenAI was the president there. And then Sequoia invested in them. Now, the Airbnb pitch deck, as you can see right here, I apologize for people listening on Spotify. The Airbnb pitch deck is very simplistic. There's 3 bullet points per slide or 3 images per slide max. And this was pioneered by Steve Jobs, who said that we can't really focus on more than 3 things at once. It's called the rule of third. And the best pictures ever have 3 layers as well. Okay, it's called the rule of third in photography. Okay, for example, beautiful picture of the beach, the ocean, and the sky. So I want you to use this version here. I want you to keep it simplistic, no more than 12 slides. Less is more. Let me paste that link there in the chat. Now, one more thing I want to say is that failing to plan is plan to fail, and you need to write a thorough business plan first. Okay, and this here is my business plan, Venture Capital Bootcamp from my program, which you can get on my website. I help you. And this is based on what I actually taught when I guest lecture a lot at Stanford MBA school in their venture capital class, when I mentored tons of students there. You're going to fill in all these questions here, then you'll print out your business plan and then your presentation slides. Now, when you create your business plan, guys, and I want you all to write these, okay? I don't care if you're working for somebody else and you're happy there. I want you to have a plan B. But the way you know you have a good business plan is if you finish it. Most people don't finish these things. And the most important part is focusing on the financials down here. Okay? Without data, you have an opinion and not an investable thesis. Okay. What makes you stand out in investment sales and fund raising roles? That's Kirk. Yeah. So I would say confidence leads to perceived competence. And you got to practice this stuff a lot as well. And there's a great website that you can use to practice your body language, whether you're saying or ah too much, if you don't sound confident, etc. And I'm going to show you that AI product right now you can use for free. It's called Udily. Okay, and the founder is Haroun. I've interviewed him on my weekly here a couple times. Really good guy. He's raised, I think, over $60 million. And if you go to udily.ai, and I'll drop this in the chat as well, what Udily does is it analyzes you, okay? And I think you can try it for free, right? It analyzes you, how you present, and it gives you feedback. And it tells you if you sound too monotone or if you sound too arrogant. It also tells you if you use filler words like yani, yella, if you're Arabic like my family, etc. Okay. All right. Now, when it comes to fundraising, and I've humbly raised and managed over $1 billion in my career, relationships are more important than product knowledge. Okay, you got to start out with bonding with the person before you start selling. And I've got a 150-page document that will help you with that right here. It's called Ace Your Finance Interview. Doesn't matter if you're fundraising or what, right? So it's a 150-page exercise book where I help you to learn how to present. Now, life all comes down to a few short moments, and presentations is one of them. Here to help. All right, next question I've got here is, what is the toughest question you've been asked ever? Oh boy, I don't know, man. I mean, this is my 354th week of doing this. I've done over 10,000 hours of virtual instructor-led training online. It's probably something along the lines of following your passion and not being worried to fail, and don't chase money. And I made mistakes. Look, the Dalai Lama said, he's got a great book that you guys should read called The Art of Happiness. He said the problem with Western society is this. People sacrifice their health their entire lives to chase money. And at the end of their lives, they sacrifice all of their money to maintain their health. And then they look back and they realize they never really lived to begin with. So it's probably about risk taking. I've taken a lot of risks in my career, and I'm here to humbly help you do that. I don't know if I answered that question correctly. Sorry. Next question is, do you think if Nixon would never remove gold standards, the world would have been different? Yeah. So Richard Nixon, who was president when I was born, he said, I'm not a criminal. He was a crook. What he did was he took the U.S. dollar off the gold standard. Before 1972, when I was born, oh my God, I'm old. U.S. dollars is based on this. Now it's based on the full faith and credit of the United States. I think the United States is much stronger because of that. And one of the reasons the United States was able to do that was because after World War II, Europe was a shambles, obviously, so was Japan and other parts of the world. And the United States became the lender of last resort to the rest of the world. So they had a monopoly on their currency. They didn't need this anymore. Yeah, I think the U.S. would be a much weaker country if they didn't do that. Yeah, otherwise you'd have to have trillions of dollars, $39 trillion of gold in Fort Knox built up or in different places. Yeah, it was brilliant in hindsight. Yeah, and he was actually a good president, although a crook. He opened up China as well. All right. Next question is from Demolition Do. Wrote, should we invest in a bear market if its revenue increased? Yeah, so I don't really think it matters when you invest. You have to be very, very long-term focused. Now, revenue is just one line item to look at. So when I invest in companies, and I provide this to my clients, I look at 100 different characteristics. Okay, so you answer all these questions, qualitative research, the management team you start with always, because that's what a company is. What they sell, catalyst drivers, target markets, quantitative stuff, total addressable market, et cetera. And then that feeds into financials. Okay, and revenue is step 87 of many. And then what you're going to do is you're going to value the company using 3 different valuation methodologies, and then you'll come up with a target price. Now, the reason I create this is so that you can create a one-pager. This is dummy data here. Print it out, bring it to your informational meetings, your interviews, et cetera, and help you become a better investor. And there's also a detailed report included. So revenue is just one factor. Yeah. But I want you to be long-term focused. And when you start looking to invest in companies, ask yourself a really simple question, which is this. In 5 years, will this company be more relevant or less relevant than it is today? And that will stop you from getting seduced into buying value traps, meaning stocks that are cheap for a reason. Yeah. Okay. Can gold fall more than 20 or 30% like Bitcoin ever, even if it's the end of the world? Absolutely. Absolutely. But what usually happens is in scary times like this, gold usually outperforms, okay, usually. And so is the US dollar. See, gold is a flight to quality, and so is the US dollar. In fact, in the fall of 2008, when we were within 24 hours of bank machines not working because of problems starting in the United States, the whole world flocked to buying US dollars. It's a flight to quality. Yeah. Okay, but I'm a gold bull longer term. I just don't like buying anything when it's even close to an all-time high. When I buy stuff, I like to buy stuff that is oversold and really out of favor. Let me show you with Bitcoin as an example. Okay, so a little while ago when Bitcoin was closer to, I think, 60,000, the RSI was like 20. Okay, so let me show this to you here. Let's go to the chart. Check. Okay. we're back in business now. I apologize for that. Check. All right, sorry about that, guys. Give me 1 second to adjust the audio here. I'm using my Blue Yeti as a backup here. Okay. Good. All right, we'll stick with these two screens here. Sorry about that. If the audio level is not perfect, let me know. Okay, a bit louder? Okay, give me a second. I'll make it a bit louder for you. Hold on 1 second. All right, so I'll make this 110, and then that's a bit louder there. Maybe go to 120. All right, there we go. I apologize for the audio issues. Back up. Good, working. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, and if the audio's not perfect, let me know, please. Okay. How do you not cringe yourself when you listen to your own voice recording? That was such a timely question. You got to tell yourself, I don't care. Okay, and it's like the Rodin sculpture. I think, therefore I am. You got to tell yourself, I don't care what people think of me. And I'm going to show you the most important chart you've ever seen in your life. Give me 1 second. This will be well worth it. I've shown this to you before, but I really believe in this. Okay, this is going to change your life. All right, so on this chart here, on the x-axis you have your age, and on the x-axis you have give a darn. Okay, when you're younger, you're down here, like when my kids were younger. You don't really care what people think. You have meltdowns in restaurants. You don't care. Then when you're an old man like me, an old person, you also don't care. The problem is when you're in your teens, 20s, 30s, 40s, whatever, you're up here. You care what people think of you, including how you sound. This is a dangerous frickin' place to live. I want you to avoid this triangle despair at all costs, please. And I want you to live at this level, kind of like the best entrepreneurs and most successful people do. Like Elon Musk or Oprah Winfrey or whatever, Steve Jobs. They live at this level. I'm not saying be rude or disingenuous. I'm just telling yourself don't give a damn what people think. And as Les Brown said, someone's opinion of you does not have to become your reality. So stop giving a fuck what people think. And I say it with love in my heart. So how do you stop caring what people think? Well, here's what you're going to do. Step one, everybody get a pen and a paper right now, okay? And when you meet me in real life, I'm a tiny man with awful dad humor. Step two, I want you to write this down right now with me, all of you. I don't care what people think of X. Write that down right now, please. I don't care what people think of X. And then fill in the blank for X 10 times. So for example, I don't care if people find out that I love video games. I got the Switch 2 for my kids, and I'm hooked on Breath of the Wild, which is a fucking masterpiece, by the way. I don't care that when GTA 6 comes out this November, God willing, knock on wood, I don't care that people find out that I'm going to be nerding out day and night. I don't care. I don't care that when I go to parties, people don't talk to me as much as they used to when I worked in venture capital because I'm a teacher. You know, and people think those who can't do, teach. And those who can't teach gym class. That was an awful joke. It's not true. Actually, it is true. Those who can't teach gym class. I don't care. That's what I want you to do. And then, and only then, will you really live your life on your own terms. Like, think about it this way. Michael Jordan, you know, when he was playing basketball, and he's way better than LeBron. I don't care what anybody says, okay? My kids are wrong. But Michael Jordan, when he was playing, if he cared what 50,000 fans were thinking of him, and if he cared what millions of people were thinking of him on television, do you really think he would have reached his full potential in life? No. Don't let anybody rent space in your head. Okay? And if somebody criticizes you at work or a friend says something that pisses you off, here's what I want you to interpret it. Okay? I want you to interpret it this way. I'm going to say this twice. This is important. Unjustified criticism is nothing more than a disguised compliment. Let me say that again. Unjustified criticism is nothing more than a disguised compliment. So when somebody criticizes you, you interpret it as, you don't say this, but you think, thank you, you schmuck. Great. Thanks for the compliment. You're so insecure. Okay. I hope that's helpful. Yeah. All right. Now, Manas wrote, I don't want to live very long, but I want to explore enough and love and leave behind. Being immortal is boring. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to get spiritual and religious here for a second. Okay. I'm just going to speak my mind. So when I go into the prison system through my church, okay, sometimes I have to give speeches here in Redwood City, McGuire Correctional Facility. And sometimes the speech is about hope and confidence. And I ask the inmates the following questions with love in my heart. And I'll ask you guys as well. And I know the answer already, but I'm going to ask anyway. Do you believe in God? Does God believe in you? Well, if you don't believe in yourself, you might have to question your faith. And we're never going to question our faith. So God always knows what's going to happen. So don't freak out. This is where I lose people in the webcast, but I don't care. God always knows what's going to happen. So don't worry. Things are never as bad as they seem. And as Dale Carnegie said, who wrote his masterpiece, How to Win Friends and Influence People, as Dale Carnegie said, it's not work that kills us, it's worry. Don't worry. Stumbling blocks are stepping stones. And Sir Winston Churchill, who President Trump now has a bust of in his office, Obama didn't want it, he put it on his desk. Long story, sorry. But Churchill once said this. He said, I once met a man on his deathbed who talked of all the worries he had in his life, none of which came true. And whatever it is that's bringing you down, making you worry, renew your faith in God. Or if you have friends that bring you down, fire those friends. Cut them off. Cut off all negative people in your life. They didn't earn a seat at your table. Okay. All right, next question is from Play for Fun. First time seeing you on the call. Hope you join again. Hey, Chris, how has your week been? It's always great. Thank you. Every day I'm above ground, I'm happy. Okay. The situation is the dollar's value is going high against our local currency. What should I do about that? Yeah. It's always a flight to quality when there's geopolitical concerns. Gold usually goes up. It's already got a lot. And the dollar goes up. What you can do if you want is step one. Get a list of the 5 biggest banks in your country. Step 2. Call every one of those banks and ask them, can I invest in stocks? And if so, what is the commission rate? And whatever the lowest commission rate is, you're going to go with that bank. And you're going to buy, if you can, ticker VOO. After you do your research, of course. That's the S&P 500, and the fees are only 3 pennies per year versus 500 pennies per year if you buy a mutual fund, which is a ripoff. And then you're going to invest in the S&P 500, okay? Now, this is money you're not going to touch for 20 years at least. Okay, so don't worry if it goes down. We don't care about the path. We care about the destination. Okay, do your research first, though, please. Yeah. Okay, next question is, Liked Carrie wrote, during a business conversation, do you look away to think about something or keep looking at the person you're talking to? Great question. So I read a great book by Larry King, who is this great broadcaster on CNN for a year. God bless him, he passed away. And what Larry used to do was he said, and I learned from him, that when interviewing somebody, okay, every now and then, or talking to somebody, you maintain eye contact, but every now and then you look left or you look right. Every now and then. Otherwise, it's intimidating. You never look down, which is what I do, because it shows lack of confidence. You never look above them because it shows arrogance. Body language is key. You never get a second chance to make a first impression. Yeah. Now, when you're doing a Zoom call, the way I want you to set up is as follows, okay? I want you to have 2 fingers between the top of your head and the top of the screen, right? If you're too high up, it's arrogant. If you're too low down, you're down here. It's like, oh my God, look at me. I'm not confident. Hi. And what I want you to do is I want the camera always at eye level, okay? Always eye level. And what I want you to do also, this is going to help you a lot with interviews, is get a yellow sticky, and you're going to draw a happy face on it, and then you're going to stick it right beside the camera, okay? And that will subconsciously make you happy. Yeah, and more upbeat. Great for first impressions, yeah. Of course, lighting is important, microphone, and I should talk about microphone. I sucked today, right? I'm so sorry I had mic issues, yeah. But I can give you more tips if you guys want on the setup. Another thing I'll say is if you can, if you have a waveform camera, and you can get an adapter, you want to make sure, you see right here, this is a good thing about having a good nose, it's like a third arm. You want to make sure that right here, you see this Ghostbusters thing? That this card, the white piece of paper, is at 80 all the time, okay? And your eyes can't tell, right? It's like boiling a frog, terrible analogy, right? Your eyes can't tell what the right lighting is. So use a waveform, keep it around 80. If you have additional questions about this stuff, let me know, please. Okay. Okay, give me 1 second, please. Okay, next up, Manas wrote, ChatGPT and Anthropic are owned by the big boys. Only Amazon, Microsoft, Google, and Nvidia has the AI market consolidation to the big boys. Yeah, we're going to see that this is going to be a record year for IPOs, right? We have 3 massive IPOs later this year. It's going to be fascinating, okay? You've got OpenAI, you've got Anthropic, and you've also got SpaceX. And Elon Musk is going to become a trillionaire this year. Yeah, if you have specific questions, please let me know. Thanks. I'm seeing patterns for SaaS and FinTech. Adobe, Salesforce, Intuit, and Zoom have all lost a chunk of the market cap in the last 3 years in a row. Why is that? Is SaaS reaching a cliff or is it by the dip? Yeah. So earlier this year, speaking of Anthropic, okay, the CEO of Anthropic, very selfishly, went on television and he spread doom and gloom with respect to software companies by implying that Anthropic can do all this stuff. And the reason I say selfishly is because he's trying to get free PR ahead of the Anthropic IPO. Because a lot of people understand the Claude brand, but they're like, what is this Anthropic thing? And it's kind of like Elon Musk. Have you ever seen a Tesla commercial nearby? Elon Musk uses controversy and the media in order to sell his products. Yeah. So in terms of software, I think they were massively oversold this year, which I said in this webcast. I don't think these companies are going to zero. But you're going to have to do the research and create your own financial model and figure out what you think earnings will be 5 years from now. Yeah. Okay. All right. Next up, Piyush wrote, what skills should I learn to get into finance, like for the future? I know basic things like Excel, Python. What would get me a role? I'm completing my undergrad next year. Yeah. So what I would do is I'd try to understand financial modeling. Okay, and I teach that to you as well. I can teach you right now if you want as well. It's just you can say, Chris, help me create a financial model. I'll do that for you as well. Understand research write-ups, picking stocks, forecasting financial statements 3 years out, etc. But what I want you to do though is I want you to have an amazing LinkedIn profile. You can do it yourself. Okay, and then I want you to network like crazy to set up informational meetings so you get the job. Go to my website, download this book for free if you want. And set up tons of informational meetings with companies you want to work at. Okay. And don't forget to ask for the job at the end of that meeting. Closed mouths don't get fed. Okay. Yeah. And there might be on-campus recruiting at your school as well. I'm not sure. Yeah. Okay. Oh, one more thing I want to say is if you guys have an Alexa device, this is how I start every morning. Okay. When I'm in the shower. Alexa, Wall Street Journal news.
From the Wall Street Journal. OutSystems is an outstanding
Alexa, stop. So listen to the news every day while you're commuting, you're walking, getting ready, whatever it is. Okay. And be careful with university stuff. They teach you theoretical garbage. Use real world stuff. Read the Wall Street Journal Daily and the Financial Times. The FT.com. Financial Times is kind of like the Wall Street Journal, but a little bit more international. Yeah. Now, the way I teach is, let me see here. I want to ask you guys a question. So I like to teach by by doing a review of TV shows and finance movies. I've started doing industry. I did the first 2 episodes, which is about working at an investment bank, where you do investment banking or sales and trading. I'd love to get your feedback. What do you guys think of these videos, and should I continue to do them, or should I go back to Billions or other reviews? Thanks. You guys are the customers, so thanks. Okay. Okay. Next up, Manas commented that the CEO of Adobe, ticker ADBE, was let go. Stocks down 60% for the peak in 2021. Yeah. Well, that ran up in the COVID boom, along with Zoom and other software related stocks. The problem with Adobe though is Creative Suite. So what I do is I use a lot of Adobe products, and I've started using Sora a lot more instead of buying videos directly from Adobe stock videos. Right. So there's definitely some risk and competition from AI. I think it's overdone though. Yeah. Okay. All right. Next question from Demolition Do wrote, is unemployment due to a lack of skill, or is unemployment due to a lack of job? If unemployment is due to lack of skill, can I learn the skills? If it is so, how is it hurting the co? Yeah, I'll try to answer. I'm not sure I understand hurting the co part to it. So when it comes to unemployment, it has to do with macroeconomic factors, right? So if the economy is not growing, and if interest rates are too high, then what happens is, meaning because inflation is too high, unemployment tends to creep up. Right now, unemployment is quite low, right? And I'm not really worried about the U.S. economy in the near term. But be a little bit more specific if you can, please. Say with love my heart in terms of what type of job you're trying to look for, and I can humbly help. Okay, you got to network like crazy, set up informational meetings, etc. Yeah, and if anybody's interested in working in finance, I've conducted over 1,000 finance interviews in my career. What I can do is I can help you to ace your finance interview. Anyway, I don't. You guys know what I do. Just set up a call at this link here. HarounMBA.com/meeting, and happy to mentor you. Yeah. Okay. Next question I've got here is, you just said the US dollar is a safe haven and has been for a long time, but it is down 12% since the new administration took office a year ago. Also, even Japan, China are buying less debt, and it's trend over years and years and years. Yeah. I didn't know it was down 12% since Trump took over. I still think it's relative. Okay, everything is relative in life. Again, the very last company to ever go bankrupt on the planet would be the U.S. economy. It is what it is. Yeah. Okay, and I can't see any other currency in my lifetime being the world's reserve currency. You know, China with the yuan, you've got the risk of communism, of social unrest. Their GDP is slowing a lot. America is still a powerhouse. Okay. And I think if any economy or any currency is going to be the world's reserve currency aside from the U.S., I would say it's the Indian rupee at some point in 100 or 200 years. I don't know. Yeah. I love India, world's biggest democracy. Okay, next question is, will AI replace most of teachers, not you? Yes, it's going to replace me. And I'll explain what I'm doing in a second. Yeah. Will AI replace most teachers, not you? But so many classrooms and professors have been seeing a fall in admissions, even Harvard and Ivy League ones. What are your thoughts? Yeah. I think education's in secular decline to the extent that I think my kids are the last generation to think maybe I should think about getting a university degree. If you think about it, university costs $100,000. It takes 4 years to do. You have 13 hours of class, a week. You don't learn jack shit. You don't learn the most important skills in life, like how to get a job, how to present, how to start a company, how to manage your own money, how a mortgage works, etc. And so I think what's going to happen in my lifetime is universities are going to be truncated to 2 years. People are only going to go if they can get into a great brand name like a Harvard, etc. And I think a lot of universities are going to go belly up within a couple of decades. I really do. And what's going to happen is step one, they're going to deplete all of their endowment resources. Step two, they're going to throw a Hail Mary pass, try to raise money from alumni. And step three, if they don't adapt, they die. Yeah. Now, in terms of online teaching, yeah, I think AI is taking a hell of a lot of share. Absolutely. And the way around that is how I've transitioned my business model a while back. I always try to think 5-10 years in the future. It's the way I think about it with AI and online education is a lot more people are going to be going to AI to learn. And then after a couple of years, they're going to get lonely because they want a sense of community. And that's what I've done with my business model as well. And let me show you very quickly. Okay. So what I've done with my business model is I've got a subscription service. You get access to all my courses for life. Okay. And I only publish courses now on my website. And you also get access to an app, Android or iOS. You take it with you on the go. Okay. And what's also here is we have daily events. You get daily access to me. You get members from all over the world you can network with. And then also, they'll introduce themselves, and they also share wins and much more. Yeah, so I've got a great network here. If you're interested in joining, go to the link in the description or go to my website, harounventures.com, and set up a call with us. Okay, remember, every business model out there can be disrupted by AI. That's why there has to be a sense of community. Okay, AI cannot take away friendships or human interactions. Yeah. All right. Next question is, Uli wrote, hey, Chris, I bricked 2 super days at JP Morgan and Citibank. Any words of inspiration or advice? I like your reels too. Yeah, thanks. Congratulations on that. My son went through super days. He got a job at a tier 1 investment bank. He's doing investment banking in Palo Alto, here in the Bay Area. He's doing tech banking, which would be fun for him. So what I did with him, the way I helped him and coached him was what you can do if you want. I have a list of every question they're going to ask you. Okay. And it's part of my Ace Your Finance interview. Okay. This is the outline here. I teach you how to answer questions, how to keep your answers short. I teach you to understand what the next question is going to be and much more. If you want, set up a call with me at this link you see right here. Yeah. And I'll put the link in the chat as well if you guys want. Ventures.com/meeting. Yeah, you can click that link if you want. Okay, or just copy and paste that in your browser. Okay. And Ted wrote, yes, Michael Jordan is the GOAT, the greatest of all time. I agree with that. Yeah. How many championships does LeBron have? Not 6. Yeah. Any thoughts on photonics and company packaged optics boom? I don't know anything about that. I'm so sorry. Yeah. Okay. All right. Next question is, how long will Berkshire Hathaway sit on $383 billion of cash? What will make them buy? And they can buy an entire AMD or a quarter of Amazon or something. Yeah. So there's a new administration that came in with respect to Berkshire. Warren Buffett is stepping down, as you know. They bought a pretty significant position in Google. Google is now in value territory. I wouldn't be surprised if a material portion of that, meaning 10%, doesn't go into Google. Do your research on Google first, please. Yeah. But one of the reasons I think that they're doing this also is because, well, number one, markets are overvalued. Number two, there's a lot riding on this new dude running Berkshire. Okay. And he's kind of hit it out of the park. Because what is Berkshire? It's Buffett. Like, I'd never invest in it if Buffett's not running it. Don't invest in any company if Fender's not running it. And the reason I'm saying this is because when there's a crash, if there's a crash or volatility, if Berkshire backs up the truck and buys near the bottom, then it could be a great PR event for them to get new investors to like this new person. Yeah. Warren Buffett's firm has always been very, very patient. Yeah. Is the private credit sector getting doomed? One data point does not make a trend. I know what company you're talking about. Blue Orchard? Yeah. I wouldn't worry. Yeah. Okay. Eamon wrote, how are you? I'm always good, thanks. Good to see you. Do you offer career advice sessions? Christopher wrote that. Absolutely. Just go to go to this link here and set up a meeting with me. Yeah. Okay. All right, Carolyn from Canada, originally from France, in my MBA program. I'll see you today at 10 a.m. Pacific time in 1 hour. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Excellent. Je veux faire le grasse matinée. Yeah. Okay. All right. Ted wrote, I love Ted's jokes. Hey, Chris, want to hear my joke about paper? Oh, forget it. It's terrible. Dude, I like that. It's good dad humor. Thank you. Okay, next up, Manas wrote, do you think more young people are moving towards blue collar or apprenticeship, specifically young men? Temporarily only because of AI, just temporarily. But what's happening with Elon Musk, this is fascinating. So they are no longer making their iconic Model S. This is not the Model S, this is Cybertruck. And what Elon Musk is doing, he's retooling all of his Model S factories, including the one here in Fremont, 35 minutes away from where I live, to make robots. The robots are coming. And I think eventually, within a few decades, that will do the bulk of blue collar work. I still think there'll be demand for white collar work. We'll all adapt. Yeah. And it's interesting because private equity firms, because they're so scared of AI, they're chasing everything non-AI now. Right? They're investing in plumbing companies, hairdressers, spas. They have to put capital to work, right? Yeah. So anything that AI is not going to touch, they're going after. In terms of how to future-proof your career, I recommend you all start your own companies on the side. And more importantly, get into a sales role. Because I don't think direct sales is going to be disintermediated by AI anytime soon. We don't trust technology. And you'll see why soon. Yeah. Now, in terms of what subsector, if I could pick it, I would probably say private wealth management. And the reason is, it's very sad to say, but the next couple of decades, we're going to see the biggest generational transfer of wealth in history as the baby boomers move on. And there's going to be maybe up to $100 trillion, we don't know, that's going to go into their children's accounts. You know, the first generation makes money, second spends it, third has none. I'm just kidding, sort of, kind of. Actually, I don't think so. But private wealth management is a great role. And the great thing about PWM or private wealth management is that if you work at like a Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley in this industry, it's one of the only jobs where you can stay there for a year or two, take your clients with you and go to another investment bank, or better yet, start your own, which a lot of my clients do. Yeah. All right. Okay, Strickett wrote, hey, Chris, I truly appreciate your video analysis of the films and television shows. Thank you. Thank you. And I'm working on right now episode 3 of Industry. I'm going to put myself out there. I'm going to try to get 2 of these done a week. We'll see. Oh, boy. I said it. Now I have to deliver. Yeah. Okay. All right, next question, speaking of wealth management, is from Akash, who wrote, how can I move from wealth management to private equity? Truthfully, is it even possible? Yeah, quite often to go into private equity, you start initially in investment banking. You do 2 years there, and then you switch. Yeah, it can be done. It's going to come with a ton of networking, though. Tons of networking. You can't just send in your resume because it's hard to even get an interview. So what I would do is this. Step 1, set up an incredible LinkedIn profile. Okay, step 2, network like crazy, get informational meetings when people have something in common with you that work at private equity firms. And then during that meeting, sell yourself, bring 1 or 2 page documents to help them with their business, do research on one of their companies, etc. And then ask for the job. Okay, closed mouths don't get fed. Yeah. And you might be thinking, I don't understand. Why would somebody in private equity take a meeting with me? Well, here's why. Okay, if you have an amazing LinkedIn profile and you offer value and you help them, they're going to help you. So let me paint a scenario, Akash. Okay, Akash, let's say it's 20 years in the future, and you work in private equity. Okay, you're a managing director at KKR, and you get an email from somebody that says this: Akash, hope all is well. I also went to the same high school as you and the same university as you, and I also live in wherever KKR office you're in, maybe New York. I don't know. Please let me know if you have time for a quick Zoom call. Thanks a lot, John. Would you say yes or no to that? I think you'd say yes. Because you'd want to help yourself in hindsight. People always want to help people similar to them that have a similar path in life. People want to mentor you. Asking you'll receive. It's prophetic. It's been true since the beginning of time. You got nothing to lose by asking. Yeah. But it's a numbers game. It's like dating, right? If I told you that if you asked out 99 supermodels and the 100th one you asked out said yes, would you do it? I hope so. Because the pain of rejection from 99 supermodels is this. Pain, 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 pain. The pleasure from the 100 saying yes is this, for example. Yeah. You don't have to be right in business one time. Okay. I can take a more questions. So I'm going to wrap it up. Okay. Next question is, and please keep typing your questions. Thanks. I did 3 semesters of university before I dropped out. And you can teach all of that and more in under one webcast. What a legend. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. God bless you. Thanks. I really think university is in secular decline. Yeah. Is AI slowly igniting a new breed of depressed people? I humbly think so. I do. We need human interaction. And the way the marketplace is going now is people are starting to use AI for psychiatry. They're starting to use it for friendships, etc. They're communicating with a machine that doesn't love them back. Yeah. And that's why I believe in the whole sense of community. It doesn't matter what business model you have. If you do an online business, there has to be community. There has to be. Yeah. Okay. I want to start a business about export and import from India. Okay. Yeah, I recommend writing a complete business plan first. Fill in the plan is plan to fail. Yeah. And if you need access to capital, never use your own. Always use other people's money. I've humbly raised and managed over $1 billion in my career. You want to raise money initially from high net worth investors because the sales cycle is quite short. Yeah. Yeah. Write the business plan first and I'll help you with it. And if you have specific questions about that, please let me know. Thanks. Why are some public oil and gas companies LPs? Yeah. So that would mean, yeah, I don't know if, I've never seen a limited partnership, if that's what you're referring to, for a publicly traded company. Usually publicly traded companies. So what usually happens is when you start a company, right, it's a sole proprietorship, then you register as like an LLC, okay, which stands for Limited Liability Company, okay. If you stay private, you can have a bunch of owners that are limited partners, LPs. But when you're about to go public, what happens is the investment bankers, and the venture capital firms, they invest in you. They make you change to a C Corp because a C Corp can have many, many more owners. Yeah. Okay, Perfect Cell wrote, Chris, how do you make accurate bets in life? For example, 4 to 5 years ago, I started learning Web 3.0, like metaverse stuff. And now it feels like this field is left behind when compared to AI. If I had only known about AI before. So if you want to get something done, give it to a busy person. And you got to write down your goals and you got to pivot quickly. Let me show you what I do with my clients. Okay. So what I do is, depending what they're trying to do, I'll show you a sample here. So every day before you go to bed, and this is for clients of mine trying to get a job in a different sector. Before you go to bed, you're going to fill out a one-pager like this. You're going to schedule the next day, okay? And at the end of the next day, before you schedule the next day, you're going to score yourself out of 100. You'll take off 10% if you didn't spend time with family, didn't exercise, didn't get the right amount of sleep, etc. And then up here, you're going to write down all of your goals as well, okay? Your 3 career goals. And what's important is you put deadline dates in brackets, and 3 personal goals, deadline dates in brackets. And the reason I came up with this is I learned from Tony Robbins. Actually, Tony is the reason why we're talking right now. I introduced Tony Robbins more than a decade ago to one of my portfolio companies when I worked in venture capital. He convinced me to teach. And he taught me. He's a great guy, by the way. He's a great dude. When I shook his hand wrapped around mine like 8 times. But he taught me that the reason that 95% of people give up their New Year's resolutions by the 3rd week of January is because they don't set a deadline date. That's why you got to set deadline dates. You got to have micro goals. And a North Star goal is as well. Okay. And last thing I'll say about this is interesting, is that at Yale University, the class of 1970, or class of 1950 at Yale University. They asked, how many of you have written down your life goals? 3% did. Then 20 years later, in 1970, they asked the class to graduate in 1950 what their net worth was. The 3% that wrote down their goals was greater than the other 97% combined. So I want you to document your goals daily, okay, and journal daily if you want to as well. And with my clients, what I do is I have them all create what's called a 10-year simple perfect resume. And what that means is this. What is your perfect resume going to look like in 10 years? You got to make it today. And then we work on filling that gap. Okay, long-term goals. You know, we tend to overestimate what we can accomplish in a year, but we massively underestimate what we can accomplish in a decade. Be long-term focused always. Yeah. And Jeff Bezos, when he used to run Amazon, he ran his company this way too. How? What he would do is he'd have all his product managers on products like Kindle, AWS, Prime, etc. He'd have them all write press releases today that are going to be released many years in the future. So you have a gap to fill. Goal setting. Yeah. Okay. Next question is, I was watching Damodaran this afternoon. He's an NYU professor, probably the best finance professor on the planet. Yeah. I was watching Damodaran this afternoon. He said young and dynamic employees are more vulnerable to AI than old and experienced ones. Human touch will be tougher to replace, and software is vulnerable. Let me interpret that. I think the older generation is much more comfortable with gripping and grinning in sales. The younger generation, they kind of grew up digital. It's so interesting. I look at my kids, right? Like for me growing up, I had toys, right? For them, they didn't really have much physical stuff. They had digital assets. So they're used to digital relationships. They grew up in the YouTube generation, etc. And it's really weird. Like when I was younger, I used to go out and get hammered. Like they don't drink, right? They don't go out on as many dates. I mean, my kids have girlfriends and stuff, but it's kind of different. But I think relationships are always more important than product knowledge. And anytime you can get in front of people, you got to push yourself to do it. Yeah. Because business is about people. Relationships are more important than product knowledge. Your network is your net worth, always. Yeah. And that's what's going to set you aside and help you be successful. Otherwise, what's going to happen to all of you is this, okay? So generally speaking, I know I have people that are 18 on this call and 80 on this call. But when you're younger, you're in school, you keep your head down, you work hard, your teachers are proud of you, your parents are proud of you, people leave you alone, life is cool. Then you join the workforce. You keep your head down. You work really hard. And then and you think you're going to get noticed. That's bullshit. Because you look around a couple years later, you're like, dude, WTF, why the face? Why are people getting promoted and raises faster than me? I do a better job than that dude. What? I don't understand. It's because they network. Because they sit down with their boss and behind closed doors, they ask. They network a lot. They have tons of mentors. Remember, relationships are more important than product knowledge. Always. Ask and you'll receive. It's prophetic. It's been true since the beginning of time. Closed mouths don't get fed. Okay, and then Eugene, I just see one comment here that says, for example, Mr. Haroun does not want to get in trouble. Yeah, let me know what you're referring to. I don't see a previous comment, but I read every comment. Transparency builds trust. I'm an open book. Yeah. Okay. All right. Tony wrote, congratulations on your son's job. Great job, Dad. No, thank you. He did all the work. He's great. He's got the genetics of his mother. Yeah. And you wrote, miss you, bro. Oh my God, Tony, congrats. Dude, it's been years. All right, brother, I want you to go to this link right now and set up a call with me. So Tony, I remember talking to you. You were on the train one day going to DC or going back from DC, and you saw the January 6th rioters. You weren't a part of it. And your daughter graduated from USC. And I remember telling you, congratulations, you're a great dad. I missed you, man. Dude, fuck it. Set up a call with me. Go to harounmba.com/meeting. Book a call with me. Or actually, dude, just email me directly and I'll call you. email support at harounventures.com. I miss you, man. It's great to see you. And thank you for the advice years ago about taking down that one video of mine. I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah. So email me, Tony, please, at support at harounventures.com. Great to see you. Miss you. God bless you more. Okay. Next up, Manos wrote, do you think Nvidia and Jensen Huang are hyping up GPU sales? He said more than $1 trillion sales are coming by 2027 right now. They make $10 billion a quarter. Mostly, how big will that jump? I don't know. But as long as Jensen is running the company, I like his company long run. Yeah. I always invest in founders. Don't ever invest in a company when a founder is left because innovation dies. Yeah. I think he's brilliant and likable too. I like him. He's the real deal. Okay. His company reminds me of Cisco back in the 90s, right? Yeah, it's a gold rush. You make the plumbing, you're going to win. Okay. Perfect Cell. I remember that game made by Rare on Nintendo 64. I remember that. Yeah. Perfect Cell, if that's the game you're talking about. People in tech say that junior engineers want to build everything and senior engineers want to avoid building anything. Yeah, is that true? Well, I think that senior engineers are used to bureaucracy and understand that things take longer to be put in place, I would say. But I've never heard that before. Yeah. But I will say that the younger you are, the more creative you are. There's a reason why the Beatles, when they were in their 20s, created such epic sonic architecture. And when they were in their 30s, the 1970s and 80s, whatever, they didn't really make great stuff as solo artists. Yeah. I believe you can be incredibly creative in your 20s. You're naive and smart enough to know that you can take risks. Yeah. And that's why, two gals or two guys in a garage can change the world. Yeah. Okay. All right. Next question is, can you give me an example of business ideas regarding export and import to make a plan? Yeah. I mean, I do have clients that have operations or companies in India and the United States that do import-export, but they've got a lot of great relationships as well. And you got to be careful with tariffs now as well. So I don't know. If I had to do import-export, I would probably just look at digital sales of products. We don't have to worry about import, shipping, freight on board, and all this legal crap and tariffs. Yeah. And the great thing about digital sales, meaning software downloads or course downloads, which is what I do, is I don't have any inventory. So the margins are high. Yeah. But I can't really help you unless I understand a little bit more about you and the type of company you want to start. I would make sure you write a business plan first. Okay. Do you set long-term and short-term goals in one sheet, like 5-year goals and 6-year? Yeah, absolutely. And I recommend all my clients do it. And so based on whatever my client is, I customize this for them. Yeah, so career goals and personal goals include near-term and long-term goals as well, and daily goals as well. Yeah. If you want to get something done, give it to a busy person. Okay. All right. Okay. And then Eugene, who earlier I said, you wrote, for example, Mr. Haroun does not want to get in trouble, and I ask you to please clarify. And then you made 2 comments here, which are as follows. Oh, you were talking about the, for example, for the supermodels and 100 supermodels turning you down and the failure compared to the 101st that accepts you. Big respect to you, sir. Chris, please. You're always talking to people when you honestly do not need to at all. I'm still here. Once I get my first check, I'll be. Thank you. No, God bless you. God bless you. I want you to all take chances, man. Just take chances. You got nothing to lose in life. Excellent. All right. So I want to thank you all for your time. I will see you guys all next week, every week at 8 a.m. Pacific time. For those in my premium products, we get daily calls. I'll see you today at 10 a.m. For our daily Zoom call. Thanks a lot. God bless. Pray for peace. Thank you.